Morgan Wallen made headlines the other day when he made a dramatic exit after his guest appearance on SNL. He had his own little mic drop moment where he, instead of clapping and hugging and shaking hands with the whole cast of SNL, decided to just walk out while the camera was still panning away. And this is what they do after every episode with the jazz band going off. They are panning away from the cast and everybody
hugs,
cheering and hugging, and he didn't really want to stick around.
What's weird is like every week they do this, so these people who work together every week then go and hug each other every week.
It's totally fake.
Yes.
And I'm sure that Morgan Wallen was getting treated like shit the whole time that he was a guest on the show, because they know that he's, I guess, conservative leaning, or at least his fan base is. They know about his N-word scandal. He's not approved in those social circles, so they were probably treating him badly behind the scenes. They're not really his crowd, just personally. And he hugged one person.
Mikey Madison.
Yeah, he was co-guest starring with Mikey Madison as the musical guest. Mikey Madison was hosting. They had like a quick side hug, and then he just walked off away from camera shot. You can see in this video. Yeah. Then he followed this up by posting a picture of his private plane on Instagram with the caption, "Get me to God's country."
Let's watch.
He couldn't wait to leave New York City.
Who can blame him?
Morgan Wallen. I had a wonderful time. Thank you.
He does kind of have dead eyes right there.
Yeah, he can't wait to get out of there.
He's like, have the credits rolled?
Can I leave yet? Can I leave yet?
He did give her the side hug.
It's the worst side hug. Lethal side hug. And then he's just out.
I'm kind of here for it.
I agree. I think that's actually the coolest thing Morgan Wallen has done.
Get me to God's country. Yeah, I informed Mary beforehand. Little do people know he was on The Voice, in an early season of The Voice. He's probably the most successful of the, not of the early days of, like singing competitions, but he's kind of become rebranded as the king of country music these days.
Yeah, so that was like a marketing ploy, becoming a country singer.
I don't know, if I remember correctly, he did like Collide by Howie Day when he performed, so he wasn't doing country at that time, but he is undeniably one of the biggest musicians in the world right now. And I do imagine that he also turned down the chance to do a musical comedy skit, and they had Joe Jonas do it instead, because Joe Jonas maybe Joe Jonas is better at laughing.
He didn't want to do any acting on the show, right? He just played music.
Yeah, they rarely do just the musical performance, but I think that he was able to just negotiate his way out of it, because he doesn't like these people.
What I liked about it was...
Wasn't there a time when he was on recently and they were 2 years ago or something, there was COVID or something. There was some... This is a re-up of him, and they treated him poorly, if I understand correctly.
If I remember correctly. 2022 or something.
What did they do?
I'm not sure.
But the funny thing about this also is I don't remember what the exact details of that story were, and if somebody wants to pull it up, they can. But he's had a history there. But for Morgan Wallen, I would actually argue that they need him more than he needs them anyways. And orchestrating an Irish goodbye while the camera's on you is kind of diabolical.
I don't think he even planned it out or orchestrated it that way. I don't think it was something that he thought too deeply about, but the fact that they took it so personally and so many people were outraged and offended by it really hit the mark for him. He didn't even need to calculate that part out. One person said, "People are upset at Morgan Wallen here, but have you ever considered leftist theater kids are the worst people on the planet? Like, why would you want to spend one additional minute around them?" I completely understand that.
I mean, I can't speak to the individuals, but look, man, I'm not a fan of New York City personally. It's not my...
I guess I haven't spent enough time there to have a take.
I was watching an interview with Samoa Joe. He's like a legendary wrestler today, and he gave this part where he talks about this famous photograph where he's flipping off the crowd, and he goes, "Well, anytime I get a chance to flip off New Yorkers."
Well, then they got Kenan Thompson. So Here was what he said in an exclusive interview with Entertainment Weekly. I thought maybe he had to go to the potty or something. I don't know what goes through people's minds when they decide to do stuff like that. I don't know if he understood the assignment or not.
Oh, God,
or
shut
if he
up.
was really feeling a certain kind of way.
Well, then
you
there's
see
actually
somebody before you get a chance to say hi or say good job or anything like that. They're just dipping. We're so used to everybody turning around and high-fiving us and everyone's saying good job. So when there's a departure from that, it's like, I wonder what that's about. And then Kenan Thompson's publicist, I'm sure, actually made a deal with Entertainment Weekly, where in order to get this quote from him and run it, they had to promote his anti-GERD campaign. This was, I mean, I'm telling you, this is actually in the article. Kenan Thompson tells Entertainment Weekly while speaking about his new GERD is no joke campaign with Fathom Pharmaceuticals to raise awareness about the condition and treatment options.
With a pharmaceutical company. I cannot think of anything more repulsive.
So with his like N-word scandal, that was like some Ring camera footage.
2021.
In 2021, obviously a much different time.
How did his Ring cam?
No, it was a neighbor's Ring camera caught it and then like sold it to TMZ.
Yeah, they published it. Yeah, because it was a different time. It wasn't that long ago, obviously, but it was a much different time to be exposed for that type of thing.
He did apologize for that and said he was sorry. And at that time, society didn't quite understand the assignment, as it were, about what they deem as cancel culture, and that it doesn't matter if you say sorry anyways, they're going to hate you anyways. And they were going to hate him anyways because of the music genre he's a part of. They literally love talking about how country music has gone pop because they like the idea of changing it from what it once was into something else. They don't want it to remain, the genre it was before.
Well, it's safe to say that Morgan Wallen has learned his lesson after apologizing back in 2021, because instead of apologizing this time for offending people, he decided to make money off of it.
Smart guy.
He launched a merch line of that phrase, "Get me to God's country," with some trucker hats and t-shirts available now, inspired by the scandal. I think that's a boss move.
The fact that they're calling this a scandal it just shows how incredibly self-aggrandizing the SNL people are. No one cares at all. Shut up.
Yeah, they're incredibly self-important, and they feel like, Morgan Wallen should consider himself lucky to be invited on our show.
He's a stadium artist.
He sells out stadiums. The fact that they would even imply this, people are going to take Morgan Wallen's side. Way more people are going to take Morgan Wallen's sides than like the maybe we'll get actually famous people on SNL. Because you're on SNL is no guarantee that you're going to have a career. There are way more people that have been on SNL and not done anything after that than have been on SNL and gone on to have big careers.
That's like, other than Kenan Thompson, who's the biggest star on SNL now? Like, I don't even know.
Other than Kenan Thompson.
He's the only name that I recognize.
Bowen Yang.
Because Kenan Thompson was part of my childhood because he was in the Mighty Ducks movies. Like, that's different. And
everyone hates Bowen Yang, but he seems to be the second most relevant SNL cast member.
Yeah.
Again, it's who's Bowen Yang? That's a good question, but he is now like the second most talked about.
If you took Bowen Yang, or you took Kenan Thompson, or any of the stars of SNL, no matter who they are, and you tried to get them to fill up a stadium for a comedy show the size of the stadiums that Morgan Wallen is doing for music, I'm guessing that they would struggle.
Yeah, definitely.
Struggle. I mean, look, to be honest with you, these people are like theater level.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe they would play like they would go to the same size rooms that All That Remains plays. Like they're not going to go and have like they're not going to do civic centers.
I bet you some of them
that Joe Rogan does. They're not going to do the same places. You don't think they could do
civic centers? Like
no.
with the visibility of something like SNL. I mean, we don't watch it, but boomers still watch it.
That's the
and boomers
point.
have disposable income.
They're not going to do. No, they would do theaters. They'll do 1,000 to 2,000. Actually, not even 1,000 to 2,000, because if you're talking about maybe 1,000 to 2,000 seaters, You know, which I mean, look, that's enough to be like a successful career.
What's like
but
an
it's
Andrew
not in a
Schultz
position
doing?
to sit there and say, oh, you know, Morgan Wallen, you should show us more respect. No, he shouldn't. You should be thanking him for being there.
And to Jack in the chat, Pete Davidson is not there anymore.
No,
Pete Davidson is on vacation right now.
He's on hiatus.
Yeah, he's on vacation.
He might
with
be
his
at
new
rehab.
girlfriend.
I don't know. Yeah.
Sydney Sweeney better look out.
I just heard that Rachel Zegler was actually canceled for an SNL appearance. Like, she was supposed to do SNL to promote Snow White after its release.
That's crazy. That would have been great promotion. That would have been great. Like, for Saturday Night Live, that would have been great promotion for them to have her on.
If SNL were willing to write the skits that would make fun of her PR disaster, but I don't think she would have been willing to participate in them. And I think Disney wouldn't have had the media savviness to know that that's the right move. So she ended up just getting taken off the slate altogether. But I'm just thinking about how funny it would have been to see Morgan Wallen and Rachel Zegler do a skit together. Like, that's why they have celebrity guests, is like crazy combos like that. Yeah. Like, I want to see
Could be like a thing where she's talking about how she, like, Snow White's a disaster, but then they keep calling back to all of the stuff that Gal Gadot also said and have the song I Had Some Help playing in the background.
Rachel Zegler needs some help.
Yeah, she does. Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.